Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And in this video we're going to be concentrating on the latest character event for Sephiroth, and this will be on the level 80 EX solo fight, the One Wing Angel. Now, as you guys might have noticed, I haven't been doing any wave by wave analysis fight on the EX fight lately. Well, the reason for that is basically I feel like it just makes the video a lot longer, and you know, it's basically just me doing like brave attack and HP attack for the most part. Now I will use some abilities here and there, but mainly if I'm using Saz, I would use his ability attack boost. But other than that, I try not to use any of my abilities, so I feel like it just makes the video longer. And it's you know, actually quite boring, to be honest, and I think a lot of you people will probably feel the same. So without further ado, let's start off this video with the general tips and guides. So this is a 5-wave 5. The first tip for you guys is obviously to save about 90% of your abilities on the last wave. And of course, my second advice for you guys is to bring in the boosted characters such as Sephiroth, Vincent, and Aiko. Other characters that you might consider are Tidus, Prish, Kain, Vaughn, Lightning, and of course the god Saz. Now, honestly, for the other characters to consider here, if you have a very strong DPS character, you're more than welcome to bring them, because this is gonna be a lot of brave shaving. That's why the characters that I put here are mostly DPS characters, and Tidus being a debuffer of some sort as well. Vincent is actually pretty good, and Prish is a very good brave shaver as well, and Kain has one of the best DPS out there. Vaughn, obviously for obvious reason, one of the best DPS as well, and so is Lightning. So those are the characters that I would consider bringing in if you don't have the boosted characters. My next tip for you guys is to actually bring in healers and brave batteries. Mostly healer, because you're going to be taking damage here, especially when you're up against Sephiroth in the final wave when he uses his whole attack, which means he will damage the rest of your party. Now obviously, if you have Ifrit, or if you plan on bringing Ifrit, you need your HP to be max in order for you to get that 20% attack. So bringing a healer is actually quite essential in this fight, especially the Sephiroth deals a lot of damage if he wants to. As for support, I would recommend getting Vaughn, because he is, as always, the best choice for support. He gives you out the most DPS, and obviously if you already have Vaughn in your party, you can change up your support. You can find any good synergy with your team, and that would work as well. I only like Vaughn because he deals the most DPS, and the other option is obviously Sephiroth himself. So if you got a friend who's maxed out Sephiroth with good passives, then you can more than welcome to bring him, because he's gonna do a lot of damage as well, probably more than Vaughn will. Okay, for my next tip is basically the strat. So there's two strats that I honestly am thinking of. I personally use one of them. The second strat is another option. So the first strat is to basically, this is what I did, is to kill Ramza first. This allows you to stop him from spamming further buffs for the rest of the party. The second person to kill is going to be Sephiroth, so you're going to be leaving off Zidane, because out of the three, he's probably the one that's least worrying. Obviously he still is a threat, especially with his free energy, and he'll give you that whenever he has brave or he recovers his brave, there is a high chance that he will use free energy. So That is one of the things that is annoying about Zidane, but I feel like the buff that Ramza does is actually quite worse. And honestly, I had a few tries where I actually killed Ramza before he actually buffed, but I think on this video he actually managed to buff the party, which was a little annoying, but obviously getting him out of the way makes it so easier for you for the rest of the fight. The second strategy is to actually kill Sephiroth first, since he is a beast and he will surely break or kill you. So if you concentrate on Sephiroth, he does have a little bit more HP than the rest, but it is quite possible to kill him, therefore eliminating any problems in the future. Because even though Ramza may buff, it's still there. Ramza is really not a threat, and Zidane is not going to be a threat whenever Sephiroth is gone. So it is an option for you guys. I don't know how successful this is. I never tried it personally, but I have seen people actually do it. The next tip for you guys is to let you guys know that the boss has a low resistance to attack down. So there is a chance your attack down debuff will not work on Sephiroth. It will work on the other two, but Sephiroth has a low resistance to it. And he also has a high resistance to speed down. The next tip I have for you guys is this is the first time I'm gonna say this, to actually bring a tank that can provoke. Goluf works pretty well in this fight. Now I do have to remind you guys that Goluf is not a DPS character, so he probably won't be doing a lot of brave shaving, but he can definitely save your other characters from Sephiroth's Octo Slash or Fervent Blows. The cover plus blade block ability works really well, since Sephiroth can only use special attacks for his single target. So this is an option for you guys out there that don't have very good DPS characters. But again, I just have to remind you guys that this won't actually shave a lot of Sephiroth's brave, so just keep that in mind. The last tip for you guys is to bring Ifrit or brothers for this fight. Personally, I would bring Ifrit here only for the sole reason that you need that extra attack. Now I do have to remind you guys that Sephiroth will use Black Materia, so your 20% attack will be limited to when he uses his Black Materia ability. However, he doesn't use this straight away, so you do have a little bit of leeway. And I think that's it for the general tips and guide. So what are my final thoughts with this fight? Well, I feel like this is a lot easier than the last few ones that we have or have had. The main issue here is Sephiroth himself. Now Sephiroth deals a ton of damage. Chances are, if he uses his Octo Slash, there's a huge possibility that you will die if 1, you're not in full health, 2, he has an extra brave when he uses Octo Slash, and 3, if he actually breaks you during Octo Slash. So, I mean, he doesn't use it frequently, but it's very hard to tell when he's actually going to use it. Now, sometimes he does have, I had experiences where he had a little bit of brave and then he'll actually use Octo Slash. It happened to me twice, and therefore my Sephiroth actually died. I think that the safest way to go about it is to actually make sure that he is broken most of the time, or at least he doesn't recover, you know, brave when it's his turn, and this way you will be safe from having to deal with Octo Slash. But again, I'm not sure how the AI works because I haven't had a lot of experience anyway when it comes to his Octo Slash. He just uses it quite randomly. And the other thing with him is, obviously, if you are bringing Ifrit, if you see the all attack, then you know the Black Materia is coming. The one way to deal with this is to actually use all your brave. Therefore, he cannot get any extra brave from your party, therefore weakening black materia as a whole. The obvious downside to bringing Ifrit here is because of black materia, which means that you won't have that extra 20% attack. Having brothers may help, but honestly, I still feel like Ifrit is the better choice because you really want to make sure that Sephiroth's brave is always 0 or obviously broken, because you want to avoid the Octo Slash. The other thing is obviously bringing a good DPS. I have mentioned it previously on my tips, and I think that's one of the other things to deal with Sephiroth. And obviously the tank like Galuf can work for you to avoid Octo Slash or whatever, but he doesn't really have a very good DPS. So you have to rely on very good. If you're planning to bring Galuf, you have to rely on a very good DPS in your team. And I think that's pretty much all my concerns for this fight. Ramza is obviously, I have mentioned before, is the buffer in this party, and Zidane is probably the less threat out of the three, but he is still annoying with his free energy. So I think that's it for this fight, guys, and for this video as well. So remember to click like, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful at all. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys. Which strategy did you pick? Did you try to kill Ramza first, or did you try to kill Sephiroth first? And before I go, if you want the No God Says challenge, remember you have to leave a comment down below and challenge me to a No God Says challenge before I even consider doing it. And if you guys have any other challenges that you want me to do, if you think of something very interesting, then I'm more than happy to try and do it. Also, make sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.